outstanding experts meet a most unusual scientific challenge. Before them are brought strange and mysterious objects ranging from prehistoric times to the near present, and gathered here especially from museums all over the world. Armed with their highly specialized knowledge in their various fields, our experts will attempt to pinpoint what in the world it is, where it's from, and when in time it's from. Our moderator is the Distinguished Director of the University Museum of the University of Pennsylvania, Dr. Philagrafika.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful to see so many people here for this revival of What in the World. And it's a revival in which we hope over the next hour and 20 minutes to, I hope, entertain you, to puzzle our three distinguished guests, two of whom I suspect would not wish to be known as scientists in the strict sense of the word, but are in other ways, and one of whom is a distinguished art historian. So on the far side, we have Mark Dion, who's a very distinguished contemporary artist who's worked a great deal with archaeological objects and really put them together in taxonomic forms in very many museums all around the world. I'm not sure, Mark, if you've done it here yet. Have you seen our basements?
I'm afraid I haven't, but I've enjoyed the public spaces.
Well, you'll see 9 objects from the basements in a moment. Next to Mark is Joe Rishel, who's a member of our advisory board and truly a distinguished art historian. He's the curator of European painting, 19th, early 20th century painting from the Philadelphia Museum of Art, and I suspect known to you all as the architect of many of the great shows at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And lastly, we have the architect of this occasion, Pablo Helguera, who's Director of Education and Adult Outreach at the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and as part of this Philagrafika exhibit, has written a book and put on the exhibit that's on our second floor. And the book, you can see here, is published today, and is a wonderful read about all the naughty stories that I'm sure would not have been told in the 1950s. Tell us, Pablo, why did you do this?
When I was invited by Philagrafika and the museum to do a project here, I was pretty much landed in the archives room of this museum, which I highly recommend all of you to visit. You will meet someone there, Alex Pezzati, who knows a lot of stories. And he started unveiling a lot of things that I realized were not in the galleries, the lives of the people that had been through the museum from its foundation till the present. And I thought it would be interesting to start exploring some of those stories. Of course, one of the most important was What in the World, and the fact that there was such an important program that still was in the memory of a lot of Philadelphians. And I felt what would be best than trying to recreate the format of What in the World to revisit the history of the museum, its objects, and the people who were involved with those places.
I have to tell you that the museum was really unnerved by this at one point because he got into all sorts of dark skeletal secrets. And we were wondering whether we should go to the Office of General Counsel before we allowed him to publish his book. Anyway, it's a great book.
Well, you know, Richard, your museum has a lot of closets.
Yeah. Well, we have nine objects for sure and 2 reserves. Bill Wispowski from is going to do the honors. We have no dry ice. Health and security will allow us.
Which is a shame.
So this is the first object. So gentlemen, we will have about 5 or 6 minutes per object. So tell us what you think.
It's a head. It's red.
You know, it looks to me like from a puppet, from a marionette or some festival or something.
I think that's a really good guess, because it's clearly this long part fits into something. So here's a hole here, so processional.
I mean, the Japanese puppets tend to have these kind of stick heads. I don't could be from.
Can we tell by the wood where it might come from? It looks like a very, it looks like a tropical hardwood to me.
So is it black?
It reminded me to the masks of Mexico, but I've never seen a Mexican mask like that. It's so red.
So redhead, right? You started.
We're still going with redhead.
Redhead, isn't it?
I wonder if we.
I think we're allowed to touch, is that right?
Yeah, touch away. Touch away.
There's a label on the bottom.
I took it off. Oh, there's a price.
2 for 79. Would you feel that?
It's pretty hefty, huh? You don't want to have someone hit you with this.
And it's heavy enough that the wood seems to still have a lot of moisture in it, so I would definitely say it's 20th century.
Is it? I mean, is it?
19.
Or could it be
25.
aged? Could it have been aged? You know, a little bit.
So it's a functional.
I really think it's supposed to belong to some sort of structure where you can actually turn it. Otherwise, you won't have this hole.
Yes.
Right.
Who do you think it's obviously a he, isn't it, I think?
Yes, well, there's a mustache.
Who might it be?
It could be a saint in a procession of some sort.
Well, I mean,
It could be the devil himself.
No, well, you're not so far off.
Yes.
it actually looks like Vincent Price.
Processional Vincent
I think it's not, maybe it's Colombia or something.
You're getting closer, you know.
Yes, it's Latin.
Yeah, I think maybe it's for
South
some.
American,
Maybe it's for some.
1925.
Maybe it's for a Holy Week celebration.
Yeah.
You're very close. There, by God, you're very close.
Because I mean, Holy Week celebrations usually have this character, which is a.
I mean, the sideburns are telling me Elvis, but I don't think the mustache says no.
So if the mustache says no, he's therefore not going to really be a saint, is he?
I think maybe it's just one of the Spanish.
Probably a bad guy.
He'll be a bad guy.
Maybe it's a Spaniard.
Yeah.
Maybe even like the devil himself. They don't have any horn.
The eyebrows don't touch, so I'm not sure.
But I would say actually it's 20th century. I don't think it's that old.
I think you're almost there, aren't you? Shall I tell them? Yes. Well, it's a puppet head from the Mayan region of Guatemala, and it dates to the late 20th century. And the wooden puppet head represents Judas and was probably used in performances during Holy Week leading up to Easter. The head would protrude from the top. I thought we're going to do 20 at this rate, Bill.
Thank God we got the extra 2.
Yes, we need Vincent in that case.
Judas, no.
Judas Red.
Okay, here's for the second one. Can you manage them out, Bill?
I got them.
Whoa, one for each. Oh, this is weird. Uh-oh. Oh my God. It's like a letter opener.
Are they counting devices?
So what do you think are all those symbols on there?
I don't know, can I see that?
Totally.
I mean, they certainly look like rulers or counting devices, right? They do have, here's 2, 3, 4 on this one.
Wait,
And this one's 2, 4. Again, it looks like
And then they have these little bevel points.
it looks like tropical wood again.
Stirring cooking.
So do you think they're used in Easter week somewhere?
No, really. This is a tough one.
This is great though.
No,
Here's the tip.
The first one was to delude you, the next one's...
This is Isn't that, but that looks very,
I mean, they're absolutely non-representational.
doesn't this look very...
Well, let's say, which region do we say it's from?
Well, look at
Do you
this,
think
this little part, look at this, see that? See this repetition sort of like a little totem? No, that's a false clue. See a little face of totem pole. Totem pole,
But
that's
it's essentially it's abstract. Yeah. Maybe it's from the Middle East.
I don't know. I definitely feel like it has to be from a place where there is a very strong non-representational tradition, right?
I think, Pablo, you will have dealt with one of the stories relating to the acquisition of these objects.
Well,
If I can give you
then I think maybe you might be right.
That is
actually,
Northwest Coast.
that actually it's not Pacific Northwest Island. Yeah, because then
Yeah, because this sort of, that's good too.
because maybe it
And
is
maybe
that,
they're counting then, you throw them and count.
and maybe it is this narration of a story that.
Yeah.
What about the ends? These look like
look
almost
like
that they
little-
could be practical, right? They're almost wedge lines,
Like little,
You know.
a little phony flute.
as though this were used like a marlin spike or something like that to weave or to open knots or something like that.
Maybe just stick it with them.
I think you're drifting far. Let me say from my limited knowledge of the archive that the gentleman who acquired these acquired them by the only way he was going to do it was by getting most of his body tattooed. So the Philadelphia main liner who went gave up his body on behalf of acquiring these and a number of other things.
Maybe it's, who's really good at tattooing? New Zealand.
Or
Maori.
yeah, the Maori culture or Indonesian culture. And you're tattooed by now.
You look stumped, don't you?
What about the backs? These two have a groove, but this one doesn't. And these two are pointed, but this one's not.
But they look sort of shamanistic. Maybe you can roll them in the bag.
So I guess we're onto something.
I'd say they do, as a matter of fact.
That's what I've been saying all along.
That's a very good point.
I think the studio audiences in the past used to be more disciplined, didn't they?
Okay, I think we're.
You're stumped. These are wooden libation sticks, which would have been used during ceremonies to ensure a good hunt and for protection against illness. And they come from the northern island of Japan, the Ainu region. So they're Ainu from probably the later 19th century. And we have a huge collection of Ainu material, which was acquired by a gentleman who went there, and he set out to find all sorts of material from Asia and volunteered his body to be wholly tattooed in the most remarkable way so that he could get this great collection. So there you go.
I knew we're very famous for their shamans, I should tell you.
I'm still not exactly sure I know what a libation stick is.
Actually, Richard, if you hit the next
Such ceremonies, next one, is it the next one? Yeah. There it is.
Okay.
So
and
you
we
can
were
see-
touching that.
And that's a normal keeper from our museum. You can
Were these clean before?
So the sticks were dipped into a cup of sake, which was then sprinkled as an offering to the gods. So there you go. Well, let's move on to the next one, Bill. Better luck next time.
That's a tough one.
Now, would any of you have gotten that? Let's do it.
I think we call that one a near miss.
We put on a big show, a big exhibit of our Ainu material in Japan the year before, or last year. So there's one person in the gallery who knows. Now then. You should get this one instantly.
whistle.
Is it a whistle?
Well, it looks to me like a whistle.
It does look like a whistle. Should we try it out? Why did I say that? Actually, I think that this actually goes in the nose, and this is for snorting. You know, when I was in Venezuela some years ago, and my friend and I, Bob Brain, in trying to be polite and things like that, we partook of a ceremony with a drug called yapo, in which we put this in our nose and sniffed this intense red powder made from a vine, and it felt like having paprika stuck up your nose while someone punches you as hard as they can right here. But that was made with that was made with a turtle.
But Mark, things don't change that much.
So that would be consistent with the shift.
And you can see that's the kind of thing you do over in the PMA, is it, Joe?
We did before lunch.
So you said it was Venezuela?
Yeah, that was Venezuela.
Is there any separate, like, would this be Venezuela? Please?
I don't think I'm cheating if I pull this out.
Tiny that loose.
You're very close.
So it is Latin American.
Could it be a Native American object?
Yeah.
Could it be instead of
This is a little snake with eye.
So we agree it's a snorting thing.
Yeah.
It's made out of bone.
I think so.
It's ritual.
There are no whistles, too.
There are nose whistles, yeah.
The shaman chooses.
And did you just do this on your own, Mark, when you were blowing the paprika, or did you have a friend?
I know I had a friend who.
And so that you both blew into the same one?
Yes, we did.
You did?
And in fact, most of the people in the village also did.
So they all blew in.
So you don't want to do it when you have a cold or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Runny nose.
The design is really mystifying.
That's why I was wondering about the design.
Again, it's very abstract.
I mean, could it be from like?
They're with clubs, so it is.
Could it be from like Bolivia or?
Yeah.
Ah. I think
Probably the moderator was more disciplined than the
sounds like you were doing the paprika too. I think you've got incredibly close. I think you really do deserve to know.
Yes.
This is a snuff tube of alpaca or vicuna bone with incised designs that was used for the ritual inhalation of narcotic snuff. So, and this one, Tijuanaca, comes from 600 to 1000 AD, from Bolivia. So, apparently, and this is why I was prodding you, Mark, apparently another individual blew the snuff into the nostrils from the opposite end.
Right, that's another way that can go.
Well done. Fantastic. So, on to object number 4.
These are very horribly mad. Wow.
Ah, something a little larger to get your teeth into.
It's a hat.
That's the first thing, right? Hat.
Hat. Made out of bark.
It looks like birch bark.
There's this writing here. What does it say? Toscanini? Or Talk look. I can't read it. Maybe somebody wrote it so in order to distract us.
They just did it.
It seems like birch bark. What about the designs? And what are they made? Are they painted?
So these seems to be like birch wood or something.
Yes, that's
right.
what I think.
So I think you're almost there on the material, one of the materials.
And I mean, it seems like the ones that like farmers will have in China.
But what about these designs?
But yeah, this is not.
This is sort of laminated.
This looks like more like Thai or
Yeah, it does look like something.
or like Malaysian.
Maybe.
They wouldn't do two angles.
But Malaysian design looks or.
What about Nepalese design or something like that?
We're going to go trick.
But we agree it's a hat, right?
Yes, definitely.
So it's yes,
And
it's
this
definitely a hat.
And these are sewn on.
Well, this is broken.
These symbols are sewn, right? You can see the thread here.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? Nepal. Himalayan?
So you think it's a Himalayan hat?
Yes. 1922.
You have a fascination for that era, Joe.
Yeah, I can't get rid of that. That's what all your guys were having.
Yes. That must be because you've been doing it for the new Picasso show. Well, it's definitely a birch bark hat.
Okay.
Okay, we got
The
that.
birch bark grows just about everywhere.
Yeah, unfortunately birch grow everywhere.
So do you think it's from New Hampshire?
Okay, this is cotton here. Or silk maybe even.
And so, but look at that, it's very, very refined.
It's really something particular.
Yeah, that's very, very refined.
Mongolia.
Let's keep on going.
Pablo has a remarkable knowledge of the world.
Well, I'm just guessing, like,
Northern
Google is
or
very.
southern.
Yeah. Maybe.
Could be Tibet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, are we on the right continent, for example?
You're definitely in the right continent. I was trying to mislead you with New Hampshire, and I think you were right. But you're slightly out chronologically, not a lot, and actually you're in the right neck of the woods, really.
Yeah.
So if you Google a little further.
So somewhere in between Mongolia and Nepal, there's about
Maybe it's Vietnam.
20,000.
Yeah. No, it's not Vietnam.
Okay,
We're running out of countries now.
What do we make of this scrap here that seems to have some writing? Is that the old label?
That's the
Here.
that is an old,
Oh yeah.
And what does the label
it
say?
says Gump's Department. A lot of stuff came through.
Harold's.
Well, I'll give you a clue. It was at a pavilion at the Paris Universal Exposition in 1900.
Oh.
So it's pre-1922.
So 1900.
Did we guess Vietnam and Southeast Asia?
Burma.
No, you're getting a little wilder.
Oh,
Shall I tell you?
I think they wanted us to say
I think there's
China
any
because of the
rich
shape of the
trees
hat. So,
probably.
so it's really more like we saw those in Russia.
They're hotter now, aren't they? So to speak.
So it's Asian somehow.
So it's near the Urals.
right. North Asia. Rather than
It's
South
North
Asia.
Asian.
You've done a lot of work in Mongolia.
I think I better tell you, it is a birch bark hat. You did get that right. It's from eastern Siberia on the Amur River on the Orochi-Gilyak tribes. I'm surprised you didn't get the Orochi.
It's southern Russia.
And this hat of traditional form and using indigenous material shows Chinese influence in the four applique decorations. Much of this Amur River clothing shows a great deal of Chinese influence. So there you are. And I'm rather certain that if Fro Rainey had been sat here, he would have known this intimately, because just about everybody says that Fro Rainey at one time or other was involved in espionage. So I was one of the founders of CIA, so Siberia would have been second nature to him. To be serious, he also worked in Alaska, so he would have known, I suspect, from the Alaskan side of the Bering Straits. So thank you, gentlemen. So Bill, with a whiff of smoke, shall we go to the next one?
Wow, this is beautiful, whatever it is.
Wow, that is something.
Is this the tail of something?
It is, but let's think what that could be.
The beads make me think of New Mexico, or that turquoise.
Is it really soft? Tell everyone how soft it is.
Yeah.
It's not particularly soft. I think.
Really?
It's a little coarse. At first, I was going to think that this might be like a pine marten or something like that.
No, it's somebody's tail.
But
But it's too soft for a pine marten.
No, it's too rough.
It's the tail of an animal.
It's the tail of an animal, but I think
A marten.
not a marten, but it's quite coarse, almost like a boar or something.
Boar.
Boar.
And the fur is quite coarse.
This is so interesting. And I wonder would it work like an amulet of some sort, or?
Maybe it's clearly made to stick in, so you may as well hold it. So you would mount it
I mean,
your brow or something like that.
the beadwork certainly says Native American, right?
So you think it's
especially-
Native American?
Well, especially the turquoise,
Yeah.
makes me think of like New Mexico. But maybe that's also a red herring and really the rest.
What about a peccary?
A little pig.
It's something, I know that, not the tail, but maybe something else. But it doesn't look like a tail.
Could it be used for just a ritual purpose? You can always say it works for a ritual.
That's the shaman trick.
I think it could be something that I forgot today, which is
I think where it comes from, it probably some people like that would wear them like that occasionally.
Yeah, maybe
Today,
Today,
but they wouldn't have in the past.
Berkeley, California.
They smoke about Paprika. You do get around.
So it's a Native American item, right?
Yes.
I think
It
so.
has to be somewhere north where you have woolly animals, right?
So is in 1920 then, 22.
18.
Maybe, or I would say earlier than 18th century, 19th century rather.
19th century it is.
That's the end.
Why can't I figure out what bloody animal this is?
It must be a rodent of some sort. Or no?
So
Maybe-
think of all the animals that would be.
Marlin. Well, you were very clever.
So you want a marten? That's
Marten.
have something a little less elaborate than a marten.
Right. Beavers have big tails.
Beavers have, yes,
Maybe
it's not a
girl
beaver.
people.
How about something, what about a badger?
You're getting
Oh,
closer.
that's very nice.
And indeed, in my country, they use them. They use badgers for exactly this object. You see, if you had an English panel member, as Fro Rainey regularly did, they would have got it on the badger.
Okay, so
It's some little rodent
it's another mustelid then. So we have badgers, weasels,
A prairie
skunks,
It's not a skunk and it's not a weasel.
ferrets.
Not a ferret.
But all of those have very kind of smooth, very, very,
It has to be pretty big.
soft.
Could be a fox.
No, they have fairy tails.
Is that going to help us though, even if we figure out what it is, how it's used?
You see, if it was a badger in England, you'd know instantly.
Is this used as maybe part of a hat decoration or something?
Could be.
Something sticking up.
Shoe with flowers. I think we did it with the whole.
Okay,
Have I got to give in? Have I got to tell
I
you?
think it's time.
You've got almost there. is North American, is 19th century, is Arapaho, and it comes from Oklahoma. And this is a hairbrush. That is the whole tail of a porcupine. With a piece of wood inserted to make it stiff and usable. Well, there you go.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. Can you really comb your hair with this thing?
It isn't. It's spiky, but not that spiky.
Very interesting.
Shows very little use.
So they use badgers. They use badgers for hairbrushes. Right? They used to. Gentlemen did, anyway. Thank you, gentlemen. So we're moving on to object number 6. Oh, you'll get this one easily. This is a no-brainer, as they say in the 21st century. Who gave the clue away? Someone screeched. So I'll just go out for a quarter of an hour while you dwell on this.
It's a plug for a bottle.
It's a what, did you say?
A plug for a bottle.
It's a plug for a bottle.
It's too big for a needle.
It looks like a pipe.
It's absolutely, I think, a pipe, right?
I mean, that's
Paprika, you say?
Would you say that? I mean, this also seems Mayan, possibly, right?
I've never seen anything like that. That's Mayan
But Mexican.
Okay.
or Aztec or anything like
So
that.
you haven't, Mark, you haven't used one of these when you've been in Venezuela?
No, that's not really Mayan.
I don't know. Maybe I think it's like from Mediterranean or some sort. You know? Looks. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the materials. This is shell.
So
This
West
is-
Pacific Coast,
it's-
Mexico.
West Pacific Coast, Mexico?
I
No,
wouldn't say it's Mexican because of. I don't know. It doesn't seem to me.
There it
the
is.
eyes and the shape of the nose and. These are definitely pieces of shell embedded on this material, which seems. Would you say it's wood?
Is it wood or stone? So I think it
It's
can't be
light.
that old because they wouldn't let us manhandle things like this. If they were
Can you,
Or maybe it's a fake.
is
Wow.
it
We're making exceptions for you today.
It's clay, right?
It's too light. No.
This is from one of, arguably one of our greatest collections. The museum mounted many great excavations, and it would hire excavators. So it hired a German excavator who found this.
So wasn't Tikal one of the great?
No, we were in Tikal a little later.
A little later.
So are we on the wrong continent?
No, you're
It's very
in the
Egyptian.
right continent.
The eyes.
And you began strongly, and then
Lost our trip.
you lost.
It's like from Mesopotamia or something.
No, there you
No,
must be.
it's Yucatan, yes?
It's not the Yucatan, but you have to go further south.
The sound.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Okay, let's.
But not South America. No.
It must be South America.
Shall I give them a clue? I'm not sure that.
No.
No.
Okay, so I think the piece is made out of wood.
Okay.
The piece is made out of wood. It has shells.
It's a tough audience.
It has shells. Maybe it's from Brazil. From the
Yeah.
Amazon.
You're getting very much closer. And indeed, Joe actually got into the right part of the world, so to speak. But it's not Mexico. But but being Brazil and the Amazon, you're getting closer.
Okay, maybe Peru.
Well, there you go.
That was the last
So
one.
that is obvious. So So, I mean, now you know it's Peru, it's just straightforward.
Okay, we know it's Peru. It's a pipe.
That is smoking. But wait.
To crack pipes, go back then.
Now, all of you travel a lot, and I'm sure you all go club class. So they often give these things out when you go club class. Even in Peru.
So it's a pipe to smoke.
Earplugs.
Yes! It's an earplug.
It's an earplug.
This is an earplug from Pachacamac, which is a wonderful pre-Inca cemetery that the museum hired Dr. Max Uhle to excavate at the end of the 19th century, in 1896 and thereon. And it was discovered in a mummy bundle. So we opened the mummy, and there was the earplug. It was like one of those things you get in club class. And it dates sometime after 600 AD, so it's very precious. And the Pachacamac material is really one of the most spectacular collections that the museum has. And I'm urging Bill and other members of the American section to get it out, the mummy bundles and all the other extraordinary baskets that Max Uhle produced from that excavation.
I just want to ask again, these things have been cleaned before we
So there you go. You haven't used one of those Peruvian earplugs recently, gentlemen.
No, really haven't.
So this is object number 7.
This is 2 for the price of 1.
Oh, a clue.
It's Brancusi.
I was thinking,
Oh, look at that. Is this some face? It's a way.
Oh, this is not just one of those.
Wow, these are beautiful.
yeah, they're really.
Well, whatever they are, they're absolutely gorgeous. Okay, could these be African? Or Asian?
But you could try America and Europe.
Yeah. This one is very, very light, right? This one as well, both of them.
Well, this
Well, this, I
obviously-
mean, the face on this one is reminiscent of that.
Well, obviously this is made for hanging.
Does this fit into that by any chance? I'm thinking the other way.
How? Oh, like this?
No. As a matter of fact, it does.
So what do you think they're for?
This one is certainly for swatting flies.
Really?
Steering potions. We've already done. Oh, we need a new.
This certainly seems like, this form really seems to have a practical function, right? Hanging with that?
It's just funny because it looks like an angel.
So if it's an angel, what would it be doing?
Well, guardian angel, perhaps.
A little
You're getting a little closer.
totem.
Yeah, they seem to be tokens for tributes and things like that. I mean, it does remind me to the Mexican milagros, but that you place to ask, for your arms
Right.
hair or things like that. And I wonder if they have that sort of like.
So you think it's Mexican?
Not necessarily.
But having a protective quality.
Yeah, like tokens that you put as asking for protection.
So protection, helping someone, helping who?
How,
They thought this was going to be easy.
No, we never know that.
Okay, let's talk about the time. Like what period would this be?
So 1920?
What's it to be? Tell them this skirt back. Not very old. We're gonna hate it when we know because there's something. It's a category when it's.
what about the colors? This is rawhide, right?
The black painting on the wood reminds me to New Zealand stuff. Yeah.
Something happens.
So Maori.
No, it's a curly song.
It's the kind of thing that actually directors of museums really need.
So they're voted figures or protectors. Protectors.
Especially in these times.
And funders?
Trustees with deep pockets. Who would have thought?
It's a trustee from New Guinea.
Oh, there's no.
Okay, we're failing miserably.
I know.
in this region here.
So I'll give you a clue. It comes from Asia, where one of the previous objects came from.
Japan.
The hat.
Hats. From Siberia.
Siberia.
It's obvious, isn't it?
I mean, it's very strange because here we have an arm, but it doesn't appear to be in any way fragmented, right? It is what it is.
Is it the kind of thing you beat someone with?
Yeah, at first I thought it belonged to like a saint or some puppet or something, but it
Yeah, but
doesn't.
it's clearly not a fragment. It's
Because the head is over here. So
Yeah.
I think it has some sort of like a curative, like a healing
Yeah.
purposes.
So you're getting closer there.
So this would be essentially a kind of totem for the health of one's
For
arm.
the health of your arm, yeah.
For an arm to get better or something like that.
Exactly.
Like a remember.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, could they be toys?
How do you play with
They're
that?
very crude. There's something this tells us. It gets very crude in everything.
Yeah, we're gonna have some missing part. It's a defective toy.
Yeah. It's from the island of defective toys.
Yeah.
Shall I tell you?
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
You're looking a little worried. It's a man-bird fetish from eastern Siberia, the Amur River again. And the second one is an articulated arm with a human head from the same area. And both of them were used in shamanic performances and represented as shamans' spirit helpers.
Aha.
So I mean, it's the kind of thing that directors of museums really... So, Bill, take that away and give us a very easy one now.
Another.
This is object number 8 that's coming up. And there it is. This is really beautiful.
Wow. It's a very unusual Freemason's apron.
It's a baby's bib.
Okay. Is this one?
So, do you think it's a Freemason who was a member of the board?
It's not that.
Okay. Could it be for a headdress? Could it be to wear?
Okay, these are pre-made beads, right? It's not wampum or something like that. That's handmade.
Yeah.
And this rope looks like it's of, 19th or 20th century manufacture. It's not hand done, right?
This is cotton, right?
It's hard to tell. It's cotton, I think. Yeah.
So you've definitely got the right date range. So where in the world?
Maybe Afghanistan?
Afghanistan. It's a good guess. Quite close.
I still think it's North American, right?
Well, that's
From the design and the use of the purple and white.
Yeah, because the beads go back to New Mexico to me, like in Native American stuff, And the sign as well.
so regular.
Well, maybe that's what they want us to.
Okay, but if this is so wide, if this were to be tied around something, assuming that this would be untied and then tied back, this could only fit more or less around your neck, right?
So it could be a necklace. Or something
Yes.
that you could wear around your neck. Like
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Right? Because that couldn't really fit anywhere. It's wonderful.
So it's the kind of thing
Do
gentlemen
you sell it
like,
on your store?
it's the kind of thing gentlemen like you would have worn?
See, now we're going to find out some gross thing like some groin thing. You have it on your neck now, we've been touching it. You stick it in your nose or somewhere indescribable. Do you think it's something of maybe a sign of nobility? Purple is always a noble color, even with.
Well, it must be used for ritualistic purposes.
It's very ritualistic print.
You make the perfect curator, Pablo.
Well, it could be just an everyday.
That's your everyday bib. Your everyday.
Your
everyday normal.
But, yes,
It's not North American.
It's not North
released
American.
this up, because that
It
was
is not from Afghanistan either.
Okay.
Fro Rainey actually excavated in Afghanistan. He did big excavations for a while there. He excavated everywhere, but he didn't bring this back from Afghanistan.
Okay.
So if it's not, we have to
It's
switch
not.
gears.
It's no longer North American.
Yes, so that means it's probably the silly river in Siberia.
Would be Tibet?
So the kind of thing they wear in a gulag. Is that what you're trying to say?
It's ankle bracelets.
And it's only that.
Now that's the trust style.
Maybe it's from Eastern Europe, but it's Hungarian.
Is not Hungarian. No.
That was
He just said maybe.
I was kidding.
These are real stumpers. Okay.
Which other people?
Take a look.
Is it something that maybe not a person wears, but maybe a pet wears? Yeah,
A dog's bit.
my dog wears some funny clothes. Maybe it's
Maybe it's a skirt for a
it's a skirt for
a dancing dog.
A skirt for a dog. Is that what you're trying to say?
How about a skirt for a dog?
A skirt for a doll. You're getting, it's not a skirt for a dog. Although we have a lot of, seriously, we have a lot of vestments for pets in our collections, but this isn't one of them.
Yeah, the next item will be.
Yeah. Funny you should say that.
Let's see.
Okay, is it Chinese?
No, it's not Chinese, and it's not Afghan, and it's not Hungarian, and it's not North American. I'll give you the country. It's South American. It's British Guyana.
Oh, British. Well, never.
And as you rightly said, it's 19th century.
It's 19th century. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Now, I've been to Guyana many times.
Really?
And I've never seen this. I think you've taken them all.
And it has nothing to do with paprika. And you won't, as a rule, on most airlines, get one of these club class.
And what was it? Do they
You know, I think that this was a bag. They just haven't added the second side to it. It's in progress.
And do you know its function?
More or less, yeah. Shall I tell you?
Yes, go ahead.
This is a beaded apron that was worn by a young unmarried woman from the Wai tribe in British Guyana in the 19th century.
Wow.
So you were kind of right.
Below the belt.
What a waist? What waist size would that be?
I mean, you have to fit on this.
So well done.
Okay.
This is scary.
This is scary. Now on top
This
of
is
being
where we
wrong.
really should have had the dry ice. And then,
So on top of being wrong, we're also going to be cursed now.
Okay, that's bone.
And the eyes?
Okay, this is cotton, right?
Yeah, that's cotton.
And this is
That one looks like that eye's remained cotton, but this one looks like it was stone, or maybe even beetle. Beetle shell.
And the string does what? It's called...
The string is non-original. I don't.
yeah. I think that the string is
But it's holding this...
It's holding this, which is made of leather.
These little cotton balls.
So it's a fetish object.
Okay, now if this were a European object, this shape are the kinds of things that riders used to take their boots off. So
Like a shoehorn.
yeah,
Is it African?
African. I would take a shot.
so you think it's African?
Yes.
We think it's African.
This is our last object, gentlemen. You must get it right.
We have such a good record. Though.
You have, yes. So I'll give you a clue. It doesn't come from Siberia. And it's not Afghan either.
Yeah. It'd be like a, I don't know, like a Northern Africa, or where in Africa would you say?
Again, the wood is very. This is kind of quite sturdy, right, and hard.
Yep.
So maybe Central Africa, maybe tropical Africa.
Mm-hmm. Well, what would it do?
It doesn't come from Africa.
We knew it.
Yeah. And it does seem to be missing parts, right? So it looks as though their
They took them off.
elements would be tied onto here. There's two holes where you might tie something, like arms, for example.
Okay, so it could be an Indonesian item.
I can't think of anything I've ever seen in Indonesia that resembles this.
And you didn't see one of these in British Guyana then, Mark?
No.
Or Venezuela?
No.
And it's weird, it has all these cotton things on its face. Like
Yeah.
cotton balls.
And they really do look like cotton balls. They look like,
It's like a facial cleansing balls.
I wonder if that's to represent the age, as though someone has a white beard, for instance. Like it's an ancestor thing.
That's, now you're getting closer.
Ancestors.
Yes.
So then ancestor worship is everywhere.
Everywhere.
But what about something like Papua?
Oh, that's a good one, Mark.
Or something like New Guinea or Papua or...
That makes more sense to me.
You wanted to speak, didn't you? Just
You do want to, and it does look like it should be planted in the ground, like outside of a door or something to protect.
So that's ancestry.
Yeah,
It's an ancestral.
or it could be leaned against something. So it feels like it stands free. I'm absolutely sure that there were arms through here, right? Or some kind of, maybe a missing
It has to
garment,
be.
something that was hung there. It looks it looks like a very loved doll because it's missing one eye. One eye is just reformed out of
You
can't
see how
comment.
the eyes in
Do you think it could have been someone?
Could have been someone?
Yeah.
Depends on how you mean that.
a house guard or something.
The guarding gnome?
But you're winning. You have to be constant. I'm embarrassed.
This just looks like, I mean, it doesn't seem to be any particular strange kind of leather, or it's not like sharp.
So it's like a protector sort of figure related to your ancestors.
Right, an ancestral.
So it's 19th century, so there's a clue.
Say
Yeah, so, 19th century.
So it kind of holds
So we know it's 19th century and not from Africa.
Yeah.
This is your expertise.
I don't know, maybe it's southwest or something.
Southwest of Africa.
No, southwest US.
Southwest US.
It's from Borneo.
You think it's from Borneo?
Could be.
I'm sure it's the kind of thing that Pablo Picasso would have taken note of.
He was into African stuff.
And he was mostly into Africa, but I don't think he would have ignored these things.
Oh, it could be Iberian. What if this was an Iberian?
No, that was too misleading. I'm sorry about that.
Well, the nose is actually really interesting.
I really think it must be from the Oceania, right?
That's sort of a scary protection, right? Because it has to be red. Right.
And it could be something from an ancestor, like a burial, like almost like a cemetery.
You're almost there.
Ancestral figure from a
House guard.
house guardian or a departed ancestor, a grave marker or something like that.
So you're largely there. Shall I tell you?
No.
So we all
I
suffer
think
here
there
for
are
another
no
hour.
children allowed. It's adult content in this.
They're very tough audience. Well, on this last object, this is a human effigy figure from Nagaland or Nagaland in India. And we have, I think, a picture of it.
Oh,
Oh, no. There it is.
wow.
And it's dressed in a full warrior's regalia at a festival. So you can see the kind of thing it would have been.
Missing the hair.
Where's Nagaland? Right in the south.
Is it somewhere up in the north, the northeast?
Yeah, Northeast India.
So there it is.
Sort of a real tribal.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, we now have one last film, Pablo's film, is that right, to see. We've done our 9 objects. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you all very much for coming. Can I draw your attention as you go out to our Adopt an Artifact program? For as little as $35, you can adopt an artifact such as, I was meant to show you the Sphinx, which I'm sure they wouldn't have recognized. It comes from Egypt. Anyway, if you adopt an artifact, you get a certificate. And lastly, can I draw your attention again to Pablo's wonderful book, What in the World? A Museum's Subjective Biography. My thanks to you, but most of all my thanks to Mark, Joe, and above all Pablo, who I believe is going to take you up to his 3rd floor show, which is part of the Philagrafika exhibition here in Philadelphia. Thank you all very much. Thank you.